Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Duology Theater was made possible by producer Nolan Matten. Thank you, Nolan. It was also made possible by contributions from listeners like you.
Yeah, C.H.U.D, suck my dick! But the C.H.U.D!
C.H.U.D-cast!
Welcome to C.H.U.D-cast!
Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to the final episode of Duology Theater.
Oh, is this it?
I believe this is it.
This is it. Oh, no.
Yeah. We're done after this. But don't you worry, folks. We have 3 new different podcasts coming out after this. But this is it for Duology. Brought to you by Nolan Matten.
Nolan Matten. Man, we've been doing this for 6 months, right?
6 months.
Damn.
It's gone by quick.
It has, yeah.
Yeah. And God, we picked the best way to end.
We kind of did.
Yeah, this is August, final month August. And if you remember, folks, we watched C.H.U.D for the beginning of this month, and now we're watching C.H.U.D 2, Bud the C.H.U.D. Had you seen this movie before, Tom?
No, I had neither seen this movie nor knew of its existence. I hadn't even seen this movie in like a video store or anything.
Yeah. I guess my first thought is, where has this been all my life?
Yes. This is a movie that would have delighted my stupid ass as a little kid.
Mm-hmm. I think the best description for this is the Gremlins 2 of the C.H.U.D series.
Yes.
How did you enjoy it, Tom?
I mean, sure.
I put it on and I was like, I better get something to do in the background, like, you know, while I watch this, because it might not be. And then I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. I have 5 pages of notes. This movie, it's a comedy.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it has Robert Vaughn in it.
It does have Robert Vaughn in it, and that is surprising.
Yes, it's a little shocking. Robert Vaughn isn't like. Is he better than C.H.U.D 2? I honestly don't know.
Well, yes, in terms of his ability, but like Robert Vaughn had a long and illustrious career in which he did some very good films, and then also he would just do literally whatever.
Right.
So
this is firmly in the whatever category.
Yes.
This was directed by David Irving.
Mm-hmm.
Reading this correctly, did not do the first C.H.U.D, which surprises me because this feels like what the first C.H.U.D wanted to be, and then there was all that business with the producer.
I don't know. I felt like the first. Well, that's true. Yeah, I forgot that we had talked about that.
Yeah, that they said they cut out a lot of jokes in the first C.H.U.D.
Right. Well, where this movie is, and I'm very curious about what this was intended for, like what sort of release they had in mind for this, because this is, with a couple of weird exceptions, like there's a shocking F-bomb in it.
Yeah.
With a couple of weird exceptions like that, this is very much has like a made-for-TV feel.
Well, there's very little behind the scenes on this.
Yeah.
However, one thing I did find, unless I get the Blu-ray, which might have some behind the scenes, who knows, is that there were 3 cuts of this movie. One was for television, one was more horror-focused, and one was more comedy-focused. I don't know what version we saw. I assume it was the comedy version.
Right, I have a suspicion we saw the TV version of the comedy version.
Possible, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm going to have to get the Blu-ray. It has interviews, some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Because this has a very, unlike the first film, which was nasty and mean-spirited.
Yeah.
This movie is not even attempting to be scary. It's a very goofy, like it's almost like a Disney Channel style horror movie.
Yeah, but it also has some absolutely insane plot points.
Oh no, it's crazy as shit.
Yeah. It's not gory even though. It's a little gory.
It's not gory. They cut away and there's like really cartoonish chomping sounds every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is out of fucking control.
Yeah, I want to go through the plot.
Yes, please. Let's do.
It's about, we start with Robert Vaughn, and he's like a military guy, and they're having a meeting in an employee break room, from what I can tell, about this C.H.U.D that they have. And by C.H.U.D, I just mean like guy who's kind of pale. Like the C.H.U.Ds in this do not look like the C.H.U.Ds of the first one.
No, not at all. They're basically people in like carnival zombie paint with shark teeth.
Yes, they're C.H.U.D in name only. Like this I wouldn't be surprised if this was written not as a sequel, and then they were like, "Fuck it, make it a C.H.U.D."
Yeah, there's only a couple of lines of dialogue. Well, actually, there's C.H.U.Ds in there a lot, so
yes.
it would have been hard to.
No, it had to be in the pre-production phase, like,
right? Yeah, they would have had to change it pretty early.
Robert Vaughn talks about how the C.H.U.Ds show a lot of spunk, which I thought was a very funny way to describe like what C.H.U.Ds are like. Like, oh yeah, they got spunk.
Yeah, they got spunk.
C.H.U.D spunk. And like I think they want to weaponize them or experiment on them. And they have this C.H.U.D, and then we cut to... Oh, and the C.H.U.D almost gets away, and then they knock it out. There's a part where there's a cat in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first 5 minutes of this is absolutely out of its mind. Just the first 5 minutes. As Robert Vaughn leads the charge, like, to find the C.H.U.D for some reason. He's, like, in the front of all of them, and they have to hunt down the C.H.U.D, and he opens a door, and a cat comes flying out. Which I assumed was meant as that's a joke, right? Why is the cat in the hospital? But you can't... Like, I didn't know what I was expecting at this point, so...
Right, this movie is impossible to anticipate.
No, yes. So, anywho, they spray it with fire extinguishers and freeze the C.H.U.D. Mm-hmm. And then we go to the town of, I believe, Winter Haven?
Something like that.
And there's these high school kids, and they're men in their 30s who are playing high school kids. And one of them's interested in reanimating the dead, or sort of. He's electrocuting a frog. Mm-hmm. He doesn't actually get the frog. The frog jumps away, and he lights his school on fire, and they have to like work in the evil like loading dock / reptile lab / morgue.
Yes.
And they find a cadaver that the high school was planning on having these kids see a cadaver for science class, and they kept it in their reptile lag / loading dock, not refrigerated.
No, just honest. They play it real fast and loose with that corpse in this movie.
Yes, they do. There's a corpse in the high school, and they immediately start messing with the corpse. And in the process, the corpse the reason I say loading dock is because it's literally a loading dock, like the kind that you would have trucks back into. Mm-hmm. And it flies out the side of the loading dock, and the corpse starts rolling down the street on the gurney. Mm-hmm. They can't get to it, and it apparently just doesn't stop rolling.
Cheerful, wacky pop music.
Yeah, to like 80s scamp getting in trouble music.
Mm-hmm. Just this corpse flying down the streets.
Yeah, so the movie's immediately amazing.
Weaving through traffic.
Yeah, and they're like, oh no! And this fucking thing it's like it's motorized. It doesn't stop.
Mm-mm.
So instead of like going to find it, the friend is like, here's what we gotta do. We gotta find another corpse. Which is incredible, because I thought at first, like, are they gonna kill someone? So
yeah, we have to make another one, or we're gonna fail biology.
Oh no! So they, oh my fucking god! They go out and they go to the hospital, and they just sort of break into the hospital and find the C.H.U.D, which is under very little security in the hospital.
And look at Iron Lung.
Yeah, it looks like there's something definitely wrong with it. They go to like the disease ward. Like they go to where you wouldn't want to find a corpse.
Yeah.
And they drag it to their parents' house.
They go to the absolute last place you would want to get a corpse from. Well, it's not even in the disease ward. They go specifically to like the center of disease control in their town.
You're right. They do. It's the last place you'd get a corpse. They drag it to their parents' house. They do a bit where the parents are watching TV and really into this like nature show.
Mm-hmm.
They distract the parents while the other friend drags the corpse upstairs and puts him in the bathtub
for some reason.
Yeah.
And then starts like, I don't know, calming himself by blowing a blow dryer in his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't make any sense. He was using it like a fan, but it was like, that blows hot air, my man. Like,
these two need to be arrested. They're maniacs.
yes.
Absolutely. He threatens his sister who sees the corpse. He kicks the dog down the stairs.
He kicks the dog down the stairs.
This little poodle. He kicks it like a football down the stairs. Everybody's a maniac. The parents are, I believe, stoned because they're just enamored.
Well, if you notice, his dad is fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Like there's like 3 beers open in front of him and he's drinking another one. And then when they sit down to dinner like 5 minutes later, he pours himself a huge glass of wine.
Yeah, good on him. Look at his kid. Look at his kid. I get it.
Yeah, his kid's a dipshit.
Yeah. And then they're watching the TV and they say like they're like quizzing the other friend like he's a child.
Well, when they're
like he's 5.
Their reaction to when he comes over is so funny. She's like, "Oh, it's Kevin," and then she looks at her husband and she's like, "Honey, Kevin's here!" Like
right.
They're so excited to see this dude's friend.
They're like on Molly. They're so weird.
Yeah. They're staring at like this documentary about penguins from the late 70s.
Right. But they say something. They say like, "Do you know what that is?" And he goes, "That's a penguin." And they're like, "No, it's a seal." And so like everybody's a dipshit. The friend apparently saw a seal and thought it was a penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they have a corpse upstairs. Things have gone really wrong in this household.
Yeah, something's wrong here.
Yeah. They accidentally electrocute the corpse. It comes alive because it's a C.H.U.D. I don't think it was ever dead. It was just knocked out. And he thinks they've discovered the key to immortality.
Mm-hmm.
And the C.H.U.D just like talks. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
Yeah. And then they hide him in the basement. He tells his girlfriend about it, and she's like into it too and wants in. The C.H.U.D starts eating things. It bites the dog, and the dog turns into a C.H.U.D dog. And we realize that I think like the first movie, it's like a zombie bite.
I don't know if that was the case in the first one, because the first one they were mutated by radiation.
Oh, you're right. In this one, they call it C.H.U.D-ism.
Yeah. So no, nobody got bit by a C.H.U.D and then became a C.H.U.D in the first one. They just ripped people apart and ate them.
Right. Yeah. They don't really.
Oh, no, wait.
like
you're
you
right.
said,
No, wait. You're right. The guy that you're right. The homeless dude that got bit did start to turn into
become
a
a C.H.U.D.
Yeah,
I think it's just that the C.H.U.D s tend to rip people apart. In this, it's like literally they'll be like, "Oh no," and go behind something. You'll hear like the sound of an apple being bit, and then a cartoon gulp, and then the other one comes out fully intact, like not on at all. Also a C.H.U.D.
Mm-hmm. The C.H.U.D transformation window is very small.
Yeah,
Dave, I've got some incredible news.
What?
The C.H.U.D 2 Blu-ray has a full-length director commentary.
Oh, yes. I want that so bad.
In addition to interviews with Bud the C.H.U.D himself.
Fuck, yeah.
The special effects artist, which, okay.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, there's a couple. The freezing effects are fine.
It's fine. It's all very shitty.
Yeah. There's a C.H.U.D dance sequence in this.
Very brief, but yes.
Yes.
They do like they do 2 steps, and the second one is not even in sync.
No, there's a Bud the C.H.U.D song in this.
There is a Bud the C.H.U.D song.
Basically, what happens from here is it becomes a C.H.U.D epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
They start eating people. We get montages of some great fucking actors who come on for 1 or 2 lines before getting C.H.U.D'd. And they really tell a story about themselves.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Robert Vaughn,
fucking Norman Fell is in there.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Telling he just starts talking about candy to the barber.
Oh my God, he does.
Oh shit.
And basically, they end up. We'll definitely talk about more stuff here, but Long story short, they lure them all into a high school pool and electrocute them all. But the C.H.U.D has a tragic ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like a surprisingly sad ending. He falls in love with the girlfriend, chases her on the diving board, tears out his whole own heart, and holds it up to her.
Yeah.
And then gets frozen and blown up.
Yeah.
Robert Vaughn fires a bazooka.
He sure does, and blows up a whole burger joint.
He sure does. I gotta talk about the first woman who becomes C.H.U.D because
my mistake. Norman Fell is the old man in the old couple that gets eaten by children.
Oh right, who eat their bird first. Yeah, there's C.H.U.D children in this.
Children.
The most amazing thing, the most remarkable thing I think about this movie to me was the dialogue. There were lines where I was like, this shit is legit. The husband and wife, the parents at one point have an exchange where he says he sees her mud packs and like on the ground, and he goes, my mother never used mud packs and beauty cream when I was a kid. And she says, your mother looked like Humphrey Bogart. There's a line where the woman is exercising. This is probably the craziest line I've heard in this entire movie, where she's exercising, and her exercise outfit is, I think, a gown top and then leopard print bottoms. And she's exercising, and she's looking at the exercise.
She's dressed like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yes, yeah, or at least like a wrestling character. She's incredible. That woman, that's her own. This is her only credit. She's watching the TV exercising, and the woman on the TV is like telling them to, you can do it. And she says, and I quote, you have never seen an ounce of fat on your body, you little neo-Nazi anorexic leotard slut.
Yeah, she was really angry at that woman in her exercise video.
What an incredible insult. Fucking neo-Nazi anorexic leotard slut. That is such an arrangement. And I don't know, why is she calling her a neo-Nazi?
I don't know. That's
It's an incredible line. It's an incredible thing to yell at a workout tape.
Mm-hmm.
All the characters are like this. Remember the business guy who the C.H.U.D gets his clothes from?
Yeah, it's just a guy stumbling out of a bar, and he's like, "Oh, your wife left you," although that's not altogether bad.
Yeah, he stumbles out of a bar and says his first line is, "This is the worst day of my life." And I'm like, oh shit, who's this guy? It's every single. The mailman has an entire bit with the dog where the dog's a poodle. Mm-hmm. It's a C.H.U.D poodle, and it's like out of a Naked Gun. Like it jumps on his face, and then he's clearly holding like a fake dog and being like, ah! Yeah. And then there's a shot where the dog drags him away, which I thought was legit a good effect. Yeah, I couldn't quite tell how that was happening.
Yeah, me either, because it's a real the real dog is in that shot.
Yeah,
and it's running toward the street, and he's sliding across the lawn. I guess there must be some sort of he must be on like a mechanic's slide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something like
that. Or
they're pulling him, or I don't know.
They're obviously pulling him. I assume.
Right. Like there's something.
Yeah, he's sitting on something or laying on something rather.
But it's well hidden. Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah.
Robert Vaughn has a whole extended bit where he talks about his father and the woodshed.
Yeah, they keep coming back to him, and they're like, they don't make woodsheds anymore. Yeah,
that was again, it was very Naked Gun. He says or I guess basketball in this case because it's Robert Vaughn, where he says he goes to the house of the teenage kids and he threatens them to their parents. Mm-hmm. He's like, if you see your kid, tell him he's dead meat.
Yes.
And then he leaves because he found out the kid skipped school, and he's in the car and he's like, in my day, if I skipped school, my father would take me to the back of the woodshed. And they had a great punchline on this, is that they have the exchange, and then later he goes, if my day, if I stole a corpse, and then just gets interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good resolution to the woodshed saga, I thought.
Yeah, it was about as good of a payoff as we could have hoped to receive on the woodshed tale.
Yeah. He also says C.H.U.D frying time right before blowing up the building with the bazooka.
Mm-hmm.
He also says, this C.H.U.D's for you. And I believe he gets the only F-bomb.
He does, yeah. He says that's fucking incredible when the C.H.U.D starts to unfreeze itself.
Yeah, which is a really weird time to say that. He also shoots a truck once and it explodes. There's a lot of Robert Vaughn blowing things up.
Yeah, He's like, we don't want them going anywhere. And he just pulls out this, just by all appearances, just a normal handgun and shoots the truck, and it blows the fuck up.
Just blows the fuck
Just
up.
blows right up.
He ends it. And by the way, we get a Robert Vaughn C.H.U.D in this movie.
We do, yeah, at the very end.
He's riding the back of a truck as a C.H.U.D, having escaped the all the other C.H.U.Ds getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
And they stuck Robert Vaughn in the back of a truck and said, "Put in these fake teeth and hang out with this dog."
They crammed shark teeth in his mouth, and he was like, "All right, let's do it."
That dog. There's so many. Remember the guy who I think he's an army guy. He sees the puppy, and he's like, "Oh, come here, puppy dog," and he's like really into the dog.
Mm-hmm.
That guy made a meal out of that very little part.
He really did.
He's doing like a weird voice, and at one point he goes, "I said come here," and then like laughs, and he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that mean." And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You have 20 seconds to make your mark, and you did it, sir.
Yeah, he knew he had to get noticed.
Yeah. There's so many of them.
He was like, "This is my shot. I'm shooting my shot."
I'm shooting my shot. Damn, C.H.U.D too.
Shit, yes, C.H.U.D too.
Yeah. Movie's out of its mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this movie.
Watch it again and again.
I guess.
All right, well, what do you think? All right, they knew they were making a comedy. This is the question I have. Do they know why it's all funny?
I assume so.
This is another like a no holds barred situation where like there's jokes and then there's like there's like the funnies, like the corpse going down the road. They know that's funny. They know it's funny they lose a corpse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know it's funny that the high school has a corpse in it and that doesn't make any sense?
Boy, I hope
And
so.
do they know it's funny the music they chose for the corpse going down the road is so oddly cheery?
Again, I hope so.
Yeah. This is a weird brand of horror comedy because the way we make horror comedy now, it's like funny people in a horror situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they still react to the horror of it all, like The Cabin in the Woods. It's all I don't want to say grounded, but it's like a little realistic. In this, like the comedy seems to come from like it's a horror film set in the Naked Gun universe. It's like a horror parody almost.
Yeah, because like the people do weird things, like when the C.H.U.Ds show up to the dance, like the woman like taking tickets at the dance doesn't realize they're monsters.
Right. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, cool costumes," which
Yeah.
considering how bad the costumes are, I get it.
Yeah, what's your problem? No, they're not. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
There's like weird levels where like a C.H.U.D gets his head cut off and he's kicking it and he can't get it and they give it back to him and he just pops it on like a Lego piece.
mm-hmm.
And like that's weird because later they get like impaled and like, you know, there's gore as well. But like that's
very, very small amount.
right. Are we to understand that the C.H.U.D physiology means that they can like T-1000 their head back on? Because there's no like
apparently,
because the guy pops on his head and there's not even like a scar.
yeah.
He doesn't. It's not like Idle Hands where he like tapes it on or something like that.
No, it just reattaches.
Yeah, it's like it never happened.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know who this is for.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, it's somewhat PG-13, but then also not.
Yes.
There's death, but like it seems censored.
Yeah, it's very sanitized.
Yeah. What was its rating? Do you know?
R.
Really? Oh, because the fucking.
I assume, yeah.
Right. So we didn't see the TV version because he drops an F-bomb.
Well, I mean, like everything else seems like a TV edit.
Right, but I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the TV edit might even be a little safer. I don't know. I liked. There's are there any horror elements? Like
No.
I'm trying to think of a moment where anybody could be scared.
No.
I think them impaling the science teacher's head on the weird burner thing might be a horror moment, but not really.
Not really. Like
The whole town dies.
pretty much, yeah.
They kill the entire town, and they are unaffected by it.
Honestly, the most frightening moment is the adult man leering at this teenage girl.
Which time was that?
The very end on the diving board when he rips his heart out.
Oh yeah, because so they used the teenage girl to draw in the C.H.U.D. All right, so they attack the science teacher, they freeze it, and then they electrocute him, and he explodes. And I think they're like, well, we should do that to all of them. So they lure them into the high school. They're in the gymnasium because they've taken over the dance, and they're just like dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And they send in the high school girl in like a skimpy outfit to like draw them in because of sex.
Yeah. No, I mean, she runs and puts on her bathing suit.
Yeah. And also, again, the bathing suit has like what's going on here? When was this made? Like 89?
Apparently, yeah, it came out in 89. Apparently, it was filmed in 87.
Was that a style? Because both the exercise woman, the bathing suit, and they show like one other girl at the dance. They all have this weird fucking outfit where it's like a unitard with like where the top is like a gown. That's kind of a style now. Like it's almost a monokini, except it has the high waistline that was popular in the 80s. Right. Is this really a style? It wraps around the neck, the cloth. So like when you see them from behind, they look like they're topless. And then the two sides go down vertically and then like turn into a bikini bottom. It's all right. I guess it's a thing.
Sure.
But everybody's wearing them in this, some variation of it. But yeah, she lures them in, and like the C.H.U.D is just immediately horny for her.
Yes.
And he looks kind of like a mobster. Did you notice that?
He does. Yeah, the C.H.U.D.
Yeah, he's got like slicked hair and like.
Yeah, he's got real like I'm gonna break your legs for like a collection energy.
Yeah,
like,
he really does.
Like he looks like the kind of guy you'd hire to beat the shit out of a guy who stole your car or something.
Yeah, and he's now enamored with this teenage girl, and
yes.
It's very disturbing.
It's very C.H.U.D like.
Yeah, it's a real C.H.U.D situation.
Yeah, it's a real C.H.U.D move.
And she gets like traumatized. Like that's the thing. It's a King Kong moment where he tears out his heart and gives it to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like scared but kind of sad.
Yeah.
And you can see it on her face that she's like conflicted. They didn't establish any sort of relationship based around compassion.
No,
between them and this C.H.U.D. What is interesting to me though is that Bud the C.H.U.D is a comedic character.
Yes, he is.
And he's I think they're trying to make him lovable. I think they're trying to make him funny. And he's like, it's, you know what, this is Land of the Dead, but not gritty, where he's like the leader of the C.H.U.D s.
He is, yeah. I did when they were all walking through the streets together. I was like, oh, this is Land of the Dead.
Yeah, with the dog in the front too. I like that the poodle was with them. So like Bud the C.H.U.D, and they call this C.H.U.D to Bud the C.H.U.D. Mm-hmm. So there's this feeling of like he's kind of a hero, an anti-hero, I guess. And I don't know if they cut something out or whatever, but like I thought the two teenage boys were going to have some sort of relationship with him as well. Of like, it's our pet C.H.U.D, you know?
Right, it's our pal.
And they don't really do any of that, but they film Bud the C.H.U.D a lot. Bud the C.H.U.D is kind of the protagonist.
Yeah.
Like, we see the movie through his eyes a lot of the time.
Yeah. No, a lot of it is from his point of view.
Yeah, Robert Vaughn seems like a villain. He threatens the teenagers,
yeah,
you know?
Of course, yeah.
So, like, you sort of expect Bud the C.H.U.D to get away, and then they King Kong it. And Bud the C.H.U.D climbs something very high.
Mm-hmm.
He does this grand gesture of love to a teenage girl he hasn't met. So, like, I don't know if they cut out some sort of even more creepy storyline there.
I mean, we can hope.
Yeah, and then she looks like sad and scared. And then all the C.H.U.Ds under him get like electrocuted and frozen. And then the two teenage boys just freeze Bud up on the diving board, and they're like, "Yeah, die, ah!" And then he just freezes in this sad expression, holding his heart. Mm-hmm. The teenage girl like kind of like gets around him on the diving board, gets down, and he falls into the water and explodes.
He sure does. And his head flies across the pool, smashes against the side into several pieces, but then for some reason in the next shot, it's still intact.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
I have questions.
And then they're just like, we did it. And the teenage girl seems unaffected from here on. It's like she's briefly affected by this humanity coming from this C.H.U.D.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just doesn't care. And then one of the teenagers is a C.H.U.D himself? When did that happen?
He gets bit on the foot.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah. It's okay. He was awful.
Yeah.
He was like the biggest dipshit in the movie.
Oh, yeah. They're both terrible.
And it's like, boy, I hope a C.H.U.D eats his ass. And
yeah.
Almost.
We
almost get what we wanted.
I don't know if this movie knew what we wanted. This movie is a little self-aware. It's clearly a comedy, but like, I don't know if they knew it was funny that the teenage boys steal a corpse and bring it to their house. Like, I know that they think it's funny in like a Weekend at Bernie's way, you know, and they're like, it's comedy of errors. We got to hide this corpse from the parents. But did they know how profoundly fucked up it is for them to be doing that?
One would hope, man.
When was Weekend at Bernie's made?
Sometime around this time.
Looks like 1989, so it was competing with this.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I haven't gone back and watched Weekend at Bernie's, but there are a couple of sickos, right, in that?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, they have to be.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, they definitely are. They don't want to get in trouble, I think, is the...
What happens in Weekend at Bernie's?
Bernie is in with the mob.
And he gets killed.
He gets assassinated. He's invited them there that weekend so they can take the fall for him. But they don't know this at the time. They're just like, oh, man, Bernie's inviting us to hang out. And then he gets killed like right when they get there. And they don't really know what happened. So
I just learned how Bernie was killed.
Yeah.
Any guesses on how Bernie was killed?
Oh, I remember how Bernie is killed.
He's killed with a heroin overdose.
Yes.
What the fuck is this movie?
That's why he has a huge smile on his face.
Oh my God.
And they do this bit where like the hitman keeps coming back and he's seeing that they're walking around like pretending as though Bernie's alive, and he's buying it. So he keeps trying to kill Bernie, and Bernie keeps coming back to life. So he's like, the hitman becomes convinced that Bernie is indestructible, like some sort of unholy being. It's a great movie.
This is a dark ass movie.
It is, but like, it's a fucking great movie.
I remember this movie from being a child.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why, like, it's one of those movies that, like, it's just clicked in my head of, like, wait just a fucking second. Mm-hmm. What is this? Like, who let me watch this movie?
My parents.
Yeah.
They're like, here, watch this movie.
Yeah. How is Bernie not decomposing?
Because it's only over the course of, like, a weekend, I think.
Okay, but what about Weekend at Bernie's 2?
He's resurrected by voodoo magic.
I remember that, and he dances, or he walks
he dances
towards like a treasure.
He's dancing. he's like dance walking. Yeah.
I feel like maybe I'll save my questions for the next time I watch Weekend at Bernie's, but
or it doesn't help that you haven't seen it in zooming a decade or two. So
yeah, I'm having like weird flashbacks. This is that kind of movie, C.H.U.D 2. This is a movie you would see as a kid. And then watch an adult and be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what was I watching?
Yeah, I could see having fond memories of this.
Sure, why not?
You remember their chant? What was their chant? It was
eat 'em up, yum, yum, yum.
And they did a dance.
They sure did.
Do they think, is the joke the chant, or is the joke how profoundly dumb this moment in the movie is? And like how fucking weird it is. I don't know how self-aware they are.
Can it be both?
Yeah.
Is it both?
It might be both. This is incredible. Do you recommend it?
I mean, sort of.
Is C.H.U.D 1 or C.H.U.D 2 better?
It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a horror movie, the first C.H.U.D is better.
Right, but even that's not very scary.
No, but it's at least like nasty and
yeah.
Fucking fucked up stuff happens. And
I just mean as movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking genre aside.
Mm-hmm.
What is the movie that you can get more out of entertainment-wise?
Probably this one.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I think overall, C.H.U.D 2, Bud the C.H.U.D, is a better movie than C.H.U.D.
I mean, it might be.
It's not better shot. It definitely doesn't have a better cast. It's just, I think, overall a better movie. It's more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I had more fun watching it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's 84 minutes.
Right. It's in and out. Like it gets in and out. It doesn't fuck around with your time.
Yeah, I guess what it is that if you watch this movie and you're disappointed because it didn't offer the horror of C.H.U.D 1, then you're watching C.H.U.D 1 wrong too. Because I don't think that's very scary. No. My problem with C.H.U.D 1 is that it's just boring.
Yeah, it's kind of dull.
It's a better made movie, but all in all, it's just like, I'm never going to watch it again. I will watch C.H.U.D 2 again. Do you think you will?
I don't know. That's a tough call. I might, because I may have to watch this director commentary, because this is hitting me like one of those movies where I have to know everything about how it was made.
Yeah.
Like I must know what this movie was.
Again, it's hard because it's like Gremlins 2, where it's like, yeah, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? What are you going to do with the C.H.U.D franchise?
It's G2, baby.
Yeah. But like, what else is there to do with C.H.U.D? You're making a C.H.U.D 2 with the C.H.U.D franchise in general. Like, maybe a reboot. Like, do you think they could reboot C.H.U.D and make an actual scary C.H.U.D?
Probably.
I do too. I think there's a version of C.H.U.D that's like scary and actually well made and not boring. And the first one like clearly didn't have the budget to be that.
No, yeah, they were kind of flying by the seat of their pants in that first movie.
Yeah, and this one it feels like they were like, look, we still don't have the budget. No one wants C.H.U.D 2. Why not just be batshit out of our minds and just make it like a teen comedy?
Kind of like a teen like buddy movie. Like, I don't know. This C.H.U.D 2 contains multitudes.
Really does. I'm not quite sure where to pin it. I know it knows it's a comedy, but I'm not sure they know where the comedy starts and where it ends. And it's also like classified as a horror comedy, and it's like, well, it's not that. Also, yeah. I think people would get very upset with like the cover of C.H.U.D 2. Have you looked at the poster?
Oh yeah. Well, there's two different covers. There's one where it's like this weird thing in the back of a pickup truck, and there's there's a second one, which is the cover of the Blu-ray, which is just the C.H.U.Ds from the first movie climbing back up out of the sewer again.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one too. Yeah, both of these posters are a lie. Mm-hmm. The one with the pickup truck. There's a truck, I guess, at the end, but it's three teenagers who do not look like our protagonists. Like, it's a blonde woman in the truck. They're in a truck. You can see through the back of the truck there's a tarp and like claws and eyes coming out. And they have written on the poster, their first mistake was stealing a corpse. Their second was waking him up. So it feels like it's supposed to be a horror movie, a really serious horror movie. Which is why when you start watching this, like, I don't know about you, but I thought I was watching a serious horror movie, and then it started getting silly. Like, it's, it reminds me of Halloween 3.
No, at no point did I think I was watching a serious horror movie, because it's called C.H.U.D 2 Bud the C.H.U.D.
Yeah, that's true. I had looked at the poster, and I thought, like, oh, it's like a kind of comedic horror. And then I realized that it was going for, like, spoof comedy.
Yes.
That's what's so shocking to me. Like, I know we said it, but it's like Naked Gun comedy. Mm-hmm. It's absurdist comedy.
Yes.
It's not like quirky or Shaun of the Dead or like, I mean, what were like, I guess Evil Dead 2, would you say, is a comparison to this?
Maybe.
In terms of comedy?
Maybe, yeah.
Because Evil Dead 2 is funny, but it's not, no one's saying jokes in that.
Yeah.
It's just funny to watch. But people are saying, like, there's some jokey lines in this. People have some really weird fucking lines.
Yeah, one of the first lines we hear is like somebody saying, I never really cared for, what did he say? I never really cared for chemical weapons. I'm a nuke guy in the military meeting. Like, there's shit like that.
Yeah, they're trying to be like funny. Mm-hmm. Like, they're trying to be like Kevin Smith. Mm-hmm. Like, they have like lines in it. Like, again, the Borman calling the exercise thing a neo-Nazi. Like, there's people doing, like, where they're on the page, the lines, they're like, this is a funny line. And then there's, like, performances that you're like, this is a very weird performance that's funny. I don't think that was ever planned in the scripting stage. Mm-hmm. And then there's parody comedy where like people are weird. Robert Vaughn he really does seem to be his character from Basketball.
Yeah, he's doing some very Basketball beats in it for sure.
Yeah, he's doing comedy beats. And then like Bud the C.H.U.D is a comedic character. Mm-hmm. And when I say comedic, I don't mean any of this works necessarily. Some of the jokes I think that they were like, this is a joke, did work on me. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them didn't. And I felt like the comedy I was getting is just from how fucking crazy this is.
Yeah, same. Everything is just weird and bad, but bad in like a goofy way. It's quite a picture.
It's really unique. Mm-hmm. It's a really unique film, and I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, I think the world is a brighter place having C.H.U.D, Bud the C.H.U.D in it.
I think so too. I think I'd show this to aliens if they needed to know what we were all about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be like movie number 200 that I'd show them.
Right, it wouldn't be at the top of the list, but it certainly wouldn't not be on it.
Yeah, I think it has good morals. It doesn't hurt animals, which that was one of those weird
yes, it does.
details.
It kicks a dog down the stairs.
I didn't mean hurt. It doesn't kill animals. I thought technically it kills the dog, but the dog becomes a C.H.U.D.
Well, then they eat the bird.
Oh yeah, they do eat a bird. Okay, so everything I said was
everything
a lie.
you said was wrong. I don't know where you got any of that.
They clearly were concerned about it, I think, because like the frog doesn't die. The character tries to kill the frog.
Yes.
And he's apparently our protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
But the frog gets away and helps light the classroom on fire. The dog gets bit and then turns into a C.H.U.D dog, and I think its life is better for that, right? Like the dog is no different as a C.H.U.D. It's a poodle.
Yeah, it's honestly its life probably improved.
Yeah. Who was the lady in the truck at the end?
I don't know. Probably somebody.
Was she the exercise woman?
No, I don't know. I think she exploded in the pool.
Okay. Whoever it was. Oh yeah, you're right. Whoever it was looked like they were in disguise, so I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it was really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. The ending is pretty much the friend leaves a note. And
and he's like, I'm off to see the world, and then we see him, and he's just all shutted out.
Yeah, he's like he leaves like Frodo,
mm-hmm.
where he's like, I can't stay here, and then it reveals that he's been C.H.U.D, so he just dipped out,
mm-hmm.
and him and his other little monster friends, they're gonna go C.H.U.D around, they're gonna go move into the house from the burbs.
Oh yeah, probably. That would be dope.
Yeah. Any final thoughts about C.H.U.D 2?
No,
Bud the C.H.U.D?
Man, I kind of need to see this commentary.
Yeah. I'm going to have to buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, probably.
And I think people should watch it. I don't know what type of person needs to watch this. I just know that I know those people,
mm-hmm.
That they're listening right now. They know who they are. And maybe, what if there's a whole fan base? What if people are listening right now and they're like, guys, it's Bud the C.H.U.D. How did you never
they're like, yes,
hear of
finally,
Bud the C.H.U.D?
finally, you're spreading the good word of Bud the C.H.U.D.
Bud the C.H.U.D, yeah. I don't know. This was a hell of a thing to go out on for Duology Theater.
Accurate.
Really sums up everything we've done here. What were our duologies?
I don't know. Do you have the list?
We
did Escape from we did the Escape movies. We did Zorro. We did Young Guns. We did
Tron.
Yes, Tron. We did this one. That was 5. So there's probably
Tron. The Raid.
The Raid. There we go. That was the first one.
That's the last. Yeah, we started with The Raid. Then I think we went to Escape from New York and L.A. Then I believe we went to Young Guns, and then The Legend of Zorro,
mm-hmm.
and then Tron, and now C.H.U.D. So I don't know. What does that say about us?
I don't know.
Because we had a long list to choose from.
And these are the movies we picked.
Yeah. I wonder if this says something about the pandemic, because we started with the Raid and Escape from New York. Okay, here we go, Tom. So we started thinking about like Revolution and like the Wild West, going against the man. So we did like Young Guns and Zorro.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking about like dystopian futures, and we went into Tron. And then finally we're like, look, we're all just C.H.U.Ds.
Yeah.
Like we resigned ourselves to the C.H.U.D ways, and that's how we're all living now.
Yep. We've all just regressed into full C.H.U.D-ness. Into full C.H.U.D-dom.
Who amongst us cannot say that they aren't Bud the C.H.U.D?
Mm-hmm.
Who just Google what Bud the C.H.U.D looks like. You know what he looks like? Edward from Twilight,
mm-hmm.
but like middle-aged.
mm-hmm.
He's okay. Kirsten Dunst slits Edward from Twilight's throat
and dumps him in the bayou, and he has to sustain himself on alligator blood.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
We nailed it. We fucking nailed it.
Well, everybody, thanks for going on this journey with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
It's been a real exploration. It's been a real discovery.
Of what? Who can say?
I don't know.
But if
Listen,
you're interested...
man, it's not up to me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know who it's up to, but I hope you got something out of this. And if you're interested, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. This podcast was produced through the Patreon. We have a Patreon where you can request movies for us to watch and then do We Just Watched episodes on. There's a very reasonable tier where you can watch movies with us every Friday. One of them, no doubt, will be C.H.U.D 2.
At some point.
At some point, this is gonna. We've done My Sister's a Werewolf. We did.
We did do that. That's true.
Yeah, we did Prom Night 2. Hello, Mary Lou. So we've done things in the ballpark of Bud the Chud, and so it'll happen again.
Yeah. We also have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed. We can get all kinds of stuff: T-shirts, mugs, masks, posters, stickers. Really, just whatever you're looking for. We've probably got
groceries. We have food, Gamefully Unemployed brand like apples and shit.
Yeah, Bud the Chud.
We got Chud milk.
Yeah.
Good old delicious Chud milk.
Yeah, we milked some chuds.
Yeah, you can do that.
We did that for you.
Yeah. I mean, other people call it jerking them off, but
yeah, it's the same principle.
It's the same principle, and we sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gross way to go out.
It didn't have to be that way, but in a sense, it did have to be that way.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Sorry about all of this. Go back to your lives.
Forget this ever happened.
Yeah, the nightmare is over.
Yes. All right.
Hit and stop. Duology Theater is brought to you by Gamefully Unemployed. Check out our cool shit at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.